If, like me, you've recently come to realize that you might be a bit different from a neurodiverse perspective, ADHD, autism, or a combination of both, or a few other bits and pieces, and you're going through it later on in life, like I'm talking about 30 plus, and you also happen to be part of our beautiful LGBTQIA plus community, it feels a bit overwhelming and like you're having to come out all over again. So what I do as a trauma-informed shadow work coach is I guide you through your new identity for your brain, is what I lovingly call this, while also learning how that intersects with who you are as an individual. So why would you want to get a coach? Well, to be honest, when I first got my diagnosis, it didn't come with a manual, and I was late diagnosed about 2 years ago, and I'm close to, well, I'm going to be 40 in a couple of months. So there you go. So I always recommend getting a coach when it comes to navigating this particular intersectionality because, again, like there's no manual for it. There's no written one fit size all. And let's be real, there is no one size fits all when it comes to this, because it genuinely feels like you're coming out all over again. And for me, for example, I had to go through re-identifying who I was, what pronouns I wanted to use, and so forth. Going through that alone can be very overwhelming. It can be very intense and intimidating almost, to the point where you feel like you have to repress parts of yourself all over again. So that's why I've chosen to go through a trauma-informed shadow work approach, because let's be real, going through it alone can prone you and prep you for more burnout, more overwhelm, more emotional dysregulation, and intensities that you are just not prepared to go through. Or when you do start to go through them, it's all consuming, it's taxing, it's tiring. So what I do with part of my process is we meet you with where you are at. I honor your pace and go at how you identify and where you are starting to see yourself re-identifying. So once we start to establish and identify exactly where you're at, we then start to look at the deeper layers and understand where the triggers are really coming from. And once we start to map that out, then we can start exploring what a natural process for you looks like. Because let's be real, in this current modern day society, it's predominantly geared towards neurotypical people. So when you feel already as a queer person and then having to re-identify through the neurodiverse lens, it's another layer, another complexity, another relearning to go through. So why go that alone? It makes a lot more sense to at least get some support and some structure and have someone be there as a guide. One of my recent clients, Jackie, she said after a year of solo healing, left me nervous for my first session, but the space was immediately calming. I was amazed to discover a hidden, deep connection even after all my work. The resulting sense of freedom was incredible. The guided meditation gave me the tools to work through these new emotions. I'm so grateful for this experience and for Josh's exceptional ability to guide. And there's more. So again, when it comes to going through this process and what it actually looks like, I said step one is to book in with me. So no pressure, just follow the quiz below, then book in with your initial 2 calls with me. And the first 1 to 2 calls will be focused purely on exploring and discovering where exactly you are in life, what the current situation is, where the most sensitive triggers are and how they play out in your life. Then we will move into the actual process of being and exploring having safety with descending further into the underlying triggers. Let's be real, we've got to go deeper than just this is the stated issues. We have to go deeper. And once we've uncovered the safety to go deeper, we can then jump into the actual modalities to release them and to then replace them with what feels most right for you. And it's a guided process. You're not going to do this alone. So one thing that I get a lot of is, how many sessions will I need? The short answer to that is this: how long is a piece of string? And it's subjective. Some people might only need a few sessions. Some people might need a couple of months, and that's completely fine. The most important component is going at your pace that honors your nervous system, as opposed to feeling like things are being forced. That's the last thing I want, is to have you feel like you're going to be re-traumatized going through these deep sensitive emotions, or even areas that you've never navigated or explored before. So the importance here is going at your pace that honors your nervous system and respects your emotions and beliefs and values. Another thing that I get a lot is you didn't have the right credibility, the right qualifications. I'll be real with you. I am in the middle of doing my bachelor's in counseling, but at the same time, I've done my advanced shadow work practitioner courses. I've done my certified trauma-informed courses, and I've also done my mental health first aid, motivational interviewing, as well as NLP. So in terms of credibility, I've been doing this since 2014, and I walked into the more shadow work coaching accidentally. It just happened. And so here I am. So if you have any other questions, feel free just to reach out and let me know. So again, no pressure. Fill out the quiz below and book in your first 2 calls, which are complimentary. There is no cost for them, because ultimately you want to make sure that you feel like I'm a good fit for you and vice versa. I look forward to speaking with you soon.